A woman was surreptitiously opening a door. She then opens the bathroom door and sees that there was a man taking a shower inside. He continues showering, not realizing the maid was watching him. At this time, a woman arrives and asks what the maid is doing there. She asked why the maid was watching her husband while he was taking a shower. The maid said that she was just bringing the man a towel, but the woman says that she would do that herself and takes the towel from the maid's hand. She then asks the maid to leave and then says that with each passing day the maid was more invasive in their lives. She said she needed to end it, because if she let that behavior continue, something bad would happen to them. Meanwhile, the maid was in the kitchen and she says the woman had arrived just in time for her to see a man. She says that one day he would still be hers and that the woman always left for work before the man. She says that gave them a lot of time to be together and that way, she could try something. At this moment, the woman arrives and says that she needed to talk to the maid. The maid asks if there was something wrong and the woman says yes. She said she didn't want the maid to be intimate with her husband and that she should never bring him a towel in the bathroom again. The maid then says that she was just trying to help the two of them, but the woman says that she was being too intrusive in her life and tells her to stop it. She then says that she needed to leave because she was late. The maid then says that the woman did not know how useful she would still be to her husband. Meanwhile, the woman was thinking about the maid. She says that she had a bad feeling about her, but that despite everything, she trusted her husband, so everything would work out. At that moment, the maid realizes that the woman was going to work and that makes her very happy. She said that now she could put her plan into action. She said that now the woman's husband would be hers. She then goes to his room and sneaks into the room. Soon, she tries to find something she could use to please the man and then starts looking through the woman's things for something. She finds some makeup and then uses it. She then goes to the woman's wardrobe and starts looking for something. At that moment, she finds some clothes and says that those were very nice clothes. She finds one of the man's clothes and starts to smell it, saying it smelled really good. She then goes to their bed and smells the pillows. First, she smells a pillow, but realizes that that was the one next to which the woman was sleeping. She then said she didn't want that and takes the other pillow to smell it. She says the man smelled really good. Later, she changes out of the clothes she was wearing and then starts putting on her makeup. She then grabs a towel and says that now she was going to have what she wanted. She then goes into the bathroom while the man was still taking a shower and then starts rubbing his back. The man is startled by this and tells her to get out of there. He asks what was going on there, why was she wearing his wife's dresses? She then tells the man to take it easy and asks if he didn't like what he was seeing. She says it was just a dress and asks if it wouldn't have looked better on her than on his wife. When the man tries to leave the bathroom, the maid tries to touch him, but the man tells her not to touch him. He then goes to her room and puts on a shirt. At this moment, the maid comes back and asks why he is so nervous like that. She told him to take it easy and enjoy that they were alone in that house. The man tells her to cut it out as she knew he was married. The maid then shows the man how she looked in that dress and says that she was much better than his wife. The man then tells her to stop that and take off his wife's dress. He told her to do that and then go back to her house, but the maid says he was very nervous and that she would make sure he calmed down. She then tries to hug the man, but at that moment, his wife arrives in the room. The wife asked what was going on there, but the man says it wasn't what she was thinking. She said she didn't believe the man had the courage to do that to her, let alone a maid. The man tries to explain, saying that it was not his fault and that the maid did all that, but the woman says that she would not believe his stories. The man tells her to calm down so they can talk, but she says she wouldn't calm down as the maid was wearing her dress. She then walks away, and the man tells the maid to get away from him, because she had done that. The man then goes after the woman asking them to talk, but the woman says she didn't want to talk to him. Meanwhile, the maid was celebrating and says that now the husband would be all hers. The man then catches up with the woman and says they needed to talk. The woman says they had nothing to talk about, as he was cheating on her with the maid in their room. She said she didn't want to talk to some man anymore, but he said that wasn't what was going on. He says that for all the time they spent together, she had to at least listen to what he had to say. She said she had nothing to talk about, because she had seen that, but the man asks her to give him just one chance to prove that he was not to blame for that. The woman then says that she would only give her husband a chance as she didn't like the maid, but she said it was just a chance. They then go upstairs and then the man tells him to go into the room and that his wife should listen to everything the maid was going to say. She said that she didn't believe she would trust him, but that he shouldn't let her down. He then enters the room and the maid says that she knew he would come back to her as she always knew he liked her. He then says that he couldn't stay away from the maid and then she asks if that was true. He said yes, then the maid said that she knew the two were going to be together forever. The man then agrees that the two should be together forever. He then asks how she had set up that plan as they never had anything before. She said she knew the man wouldn't resist her charms and that she was just waiting for his wife to leave so she could put her plan into practice. The man then asks if she had been planning this for a long time and she says yes. She said she knew it was only a matter of time before they were alone, and then she could win the man for her. At this moment, the woman who was listening to all that gets tired of it and enters the room. She then says that she didn't believe that and the maid asks what she was doing there since she was gone. The woman says that the maid would leave that house and tells her to take off the dress she was wearing. The maid says that she couldn't lose the job as she needed to take care of her mother and pay her bills. The woman says she should have thought of that before trying to stay with her husband, but the maid says it was all the man's fault. The woman says that was a lie, because she had heard everything she had said and then, the man tells her to leave his house and never come back there. The woman then says that since the maid liked the dress so much, she could keep it, as she didn't want it back. The maid then says that the man knew she would wait for him, but the woman tells her to leave her house soon. The man then apologizes to his wife and says that it was not his fault, as the maid had planned everything. The woman then says that she couldn't believe that she had put a person inside her house and that person had almost ended her marriage. The man then says that the only way to truly get to know a person was to give them freedom. The woman then apologizes to her husband for doubting him, but he tells her that she didn't need to apologize to him.